Hey there guys, so last time in the anime, Talisman had assigned Mizzy to stay on guard because Alice might try to rescue Sisbel from the research institute. His hunch turned out right since Alice had indeed planned to send Iska and his team to Hydra's research facility. It's located way out at the edge of their kingdom, and on top of that, a big meeting was called for all the royals to figure out what to do after the Empire launched such a massive attack on them. It was the perfect timing for a rescue mission since Talisman would be busy in that meeting. So just as the meeting kicked off, Iska and his team headed out to find Sisbel and get her out if she was being held there. While they were searching inside the building, the meeting was already underway, with Lord Mask taking the lead, and from the way the conversation was going, everyone assumed he was suggesting holding elections to choose a new queen, but that wasn't at all. He actually planned to awaken the founder of sovereignty, and at the same time, Iska and his team finally located a spot where Sisbel might have been kept, but they were greeted with non-stop gunfire powered by Mizzy's astral powers. Her strength was terrifying, but Iska managed to neutralize it on his own. She quickly recognized him as the famous former Saint Disciple. So she called out one of her pawns to play with Iska a bit more. Around the same moment, Salinger also arrived to join the chaos at Hydra. He was already pissed about the dirty attack they launched on Mira, and now he wanted to expose everything to the sovereignty. He sensed what he was looking for was on the top floor, and that's where Vichyssoise was sitting. She was using Tri-Stage, a form only two people had ever unlocked, the Founder and the Emperor. Since it fuses the human body with astral spirit, so he figured Vichyssoise must have been an artificially created lab rat, but she got furious when he used that term, saying she wanted to be called by her name. Still, both monsters were ready to go, and that's when Sistia told the others that Salinger was here, the most dangerous criminal in the sovereignty. But his attack actually gave them a solid chance to escape. Meanwhile, in the meeting, word came in that something was going down at Hydra's facility. Talisman tried to shift the blame to Imperial invaders, but a messenger confirmed it was Salinger. The last anyone heard of him was that he was seen up in Alcatraz town. And yet Talisman just acted like it wasn't a big deal, and insisted they keep going with the meeting, which raised a lot of questions about why he seemed so chill. But one thing became clear to Alice, that Talisman definitely had a plan. At that time, Iska was still battling Mizzy, and she knew he wasn't someone who'd go down easy. It felt like she was channeling her astral energy into others, and since Iska was clearly trying to figure out the nature of her power, Mizzy summoned more pawns to keep him confused. Even then, Iska landed a solid hit on her in close combat, but instead of finishing her, he stole her earring, knowing it must hold some importance. Meanwhile, the fight between Salinger and the so-called lab rat was also heating up. Vichyssoise created a flame barrier to keep Salinger trapped in, so that she can defeat the Empire's most feared monster, but it was all just a wishful thinking. Salinger hadn't even begun to show his true power, and had no interest in wasting it on her, so he moved on. At that time, Iska tried to slip away, quietly too, but that Snow had just had to show up. She wanted to slice Iska apart bit by bit, but he used Mizzy's flames to defeat her, and away from there, Mira was anxious about Sisbel's whereabouts since there was still no update. And what's even more shocking was Salinger. No one could figure out what he was planning, and Mira was feeling guilty for letting such a legendary criminal escape back in the day. And now she wants Alice to succeed her as queen, because only she could protect the sovereignty better. But Alice still had things she wanted to accomplish first. So she asked the current queen to stay in power a little longer. Then, with the Snow had defeated, Mizzy returned again with new tricks up her sleeves. Iska did his best to dodge her sound-based attacks, but Mizzy wouldn't let up. Even though she was clearly reaching her limits, Iska kept the fight going until Salinger stepped in to help him. Right after that, Vichyssoise joined in too, so Salinger took her out first. His real goal was to get the research papers on how they turned her into a monster. He already knew the stolen data was just a cheap knockoff. What he wanted was the original record. Now Mizzy had a new opponent to deal with, and the entire building was on the verge of collapse. Outside, Nora was reporting the situation to her superior when she bumped into someone. And to her shock, it was Ms. Miz. Seeing an Imperial soldier here surprised her, but Ms. Miz ran off. After all this, the team regrouped and reported everything to Rin. Now they had solid proof that Hydra was behind Sisbel's kidnapping, but as for Salinger, no one could say for sure why he was really there. Then Jean unlocked the data chip from Izzy's earring and discovered that Sis Bell had already been moved before they reached the facility. Now, she was in the air headed directly toward the Empire. This threw their entire plan into chaos, because sneaking into the Sovereignty was one thing, but infiltrating the Empire was on a whole other level. Plus, they couldn't keep betraying their nations, so Rin proposed a deal. They'd be allowed to leave even though they failed to save Sis Bell, but only if they took a spy along. Someone who would separate before they reached the capital and rescue Sis Bell on their own. They had no choice but to agree, otherwise they wouldn't be allowed to leave. Rin later told Alice about the plan, and Alice agreed, because she couldn't leave the Queen's side. But she knew saving Sis Bell was crucial. That's why she chose Rin to handle the mission. Rin was the one she trusted more than any other spy, but the mission hit Rin hard. She gets a deep, nasty feeling of the Empire every time, and now Alice was sending her right into it, so she broke down crying. Meanwhile, Sis Bell was already somewhere else, and even worse, the Founder had awakened. And right there, our Season 2 ends, so stay tuned for more updates on the anime, and for that, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest news. Till then, take care.